With the financial crisis nagging, more water-dependent companies choose to focus on their core business and outsource their water management. But what services can you actually outsource, and what happens if the supplier fails to deliver? We asked GE Water's Australian region executive, Isha Hakim, whom we met at the Oswater conference.
One of the interesting things that we were struck by at WME was the outsourcing business that you guys have taken. So, in a broad sense, why would a customer look to outsource their water management?
So what we're finding at the moment is clients are putting money back into what they do well. And it could be a refinery that produces petroleum, or it could be a industrial site that produces fertilizer. But what they want to do is be able to use the capital to put it into infrastructure that gives them money, and let things like water treatment or wastewater treatment be handled by the experts.
Can you give us, again, a snapshot of the breadth of some of those customers, with some specific examples?
So I mean, we look at outsourcing in three different forms. Emergency, that is when a customer has an issue and needs to be treated quickly and says, "Gee, we've got a problem, you need to come and solve it for us," and they outsource that challenge to us. Short term, where it may be a situation where they have a strategy that has changed due to inlet water variability, and they might say, for this period of time in summer we have a salt wedge coming up the river, for example, and we want to be able to treat that salt wedge for 6 months at a time. So we may roll out certain technology for that short period where the customer doesn't have to buy the technology, and we will place it there and they outsource that to us for that short period of time. And then of course it's the old build one operate. Build one operate being we provide the technology, we provide the funds, we operate it, we maintain it. So we worked with Sydney Airport and we installed what we call a wastewater reuse plant. That wastewater reuse plant includes a membrane bioreactor, which takes raw sewage, so I call it black gold. It takes raw sewage and we treat it through our membrane bioreactor to produce clean water. Context of savings, we're probably saving the airport about $500,000 per annum.
One of the questions I would have as a customer is, what if something goes catastrophically wrong with the treatment plant and that impacts on my ability to operate the business?
I think each situation is different. So if we look at if it's critical for a customer to have a water source available, you will always have a risk mitigation for them to tap back into the source that they had before. And of course, as that water source gets utilised, a portion of that risk and cost will be transferred back to the outsourcing company. And the other way maybe is the company that is doing the outsourced work would actually look at putting trailers on site if they can see a problem coming up with the treatment plant.
With these outsourcing arrangements, I guess part of the outsource is the risk. So I'm interested in the management arrangements and also how the risk is shared and what portion of that GE adopts.
So financial risk on the operation and maintenance side is on GE because that's within the constraints of the plant. So from an operational risk perspective, there are certain KPIs as part of an outsourcing structure, and it stipulates what you must do to make sure you get the financial payment, and there's incentives, and if those are not met by the company operating that's been outsourced to, they will have a financial burden. So it's a must. That's why I think an outsource works, because for you to make money, you got to deliver.
So, Ish, in a big picture sense, where do you see the next 10 years or so going, particularly in the outsourcing space for industrial?
I think it's a trend on the rise, and especially with all that's happening globally with the financial crunch. I think customers are looking at more so putting their capital back into what makes them profitable. I think you're going to see a lot more outsourcing happening here in Australia in the future, and we're definitely seeing that. We're seeing a 20 to 30% per annum increase in outsourcing.
So Ish, can you show us some of the technologies that are behind the outsourcing push?
GE Water in Australia is all about long-term security of water for Australia. How do we do that? We do that by certain technologies such as EDR. EDR is high recovery. And when you look at construction and you squeeze every last bit of water out, you get a large wastewater pond that you need to construct. And in remote places that's quite expensive. It's a robust technology, so with skills that are not high-level skills required to run this plant, and then therefore the variability can be taken care of by the technology.
And we also have a field service network that goes out and services these clients. So where is it integrated into the process, the EDR?
EDR can be a standalone process itself, so if I can talk to you about the Luna, which is in Western Australia, it actually takes this bore water coming out of the ground. All it has is a cartridge filter at the front and the EDR player. That's it.